Missouri's budget is expected to be smaller this coming year, which means lawmakers will have to make some pretty tough decisions about what to put in it. Our Missouri Capitol reporter Hannah Falcon breaks down what a smaller budget could mean for you.
While it may seem like a far-off concept to some people, the state budget affects basically everything in Missouri. It guides how our government will spend our tax dollars and which services will be funded, from education to health care to roads. And a decreasing budget means it will look very different next year.
Our budget the next 2 or 3 years is going to get very difficult, and so there's going to be some hard decisions that have to be made.
Missouri's budget analysts are predicting $13.35 billion in general revenue for the fiscal year 2025 state budget. That's a 0.6% decline from last year's general revenue. General revenue is the money left to be spent. There is more money that's already been allocated to specific state departments.
The federal flow of money that started during COVID is definitely either off or being turned off. And so we're going to have to make sure we adjust to a new world.
Tracy Gleason with the nonprofit group Missouri Budget Project says the federal relief funds have been hiding the fact that Missouri's general revenue has stopped growing.
While next year looks tight, further down the line, it looks kind of scary.
Gleason tells me tax cuts slowly going into effect over the past couple years have led to decreased revenue for the state.
We need to think about what it is that we are wanting to fund in that budget and making sure that we're collecting the revenue that's going to do that.
Now that time period is over and those federal funds are starting to go away, I think it's going to be a challenge to continue just to deliver our everyday state programs.
Independence Democrat Representative Aaron Crossley says lawmakers can come together on a balanced budget if they focus on funds instead of what he calls culture war issues.
I want to make sure that we are laser focused on giving the relief that people are asking for and not focusing on those culture war issues that either side they're never going to agree on, and they impact so few people in our state that they kind of become distractions.
Governor-elect Mike Kehoe will lay out his priorities for the state budget next month in his first State of the State address. Reporting in Jefferson City, I'm Hannah Falcon, First Alert 4.